Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today, we're really zeroing in, not just scanning headlines, but looking closely at international football. It's a crucial qualifying window.
Hmm.
And we've got sources covering injuries, tactics, and maybe the most surprising thing, a big shift in career plans for England's main man.
Yeah, it's a classic deep dive setup, isn't it? Because you have the immediate news, the injury, which gets all the attention,
Right.
but that kind of overshadows the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We need to look past just, who starts the friendly.
Understand the knock-on effects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
World Cup qualifying, team spirit, and, the whole path of a really top player.
Okay, let's get into it then. And the place to start has to be the headline that's shaping everything this week. England captain Harry Kane. He's definitely out for the friendly against Wales. Thursday, October 12th at Wembley.
That's the core fact.
Yeah.
And the reason. An ankle injury.
Ah,
And it wasn't something that happened in training, which is interesting. It was actually right at the end of Bayern Munich's last Bundesliga game.
the win against Frankfurt.
That's the one, yeah, against Eintracht Frankfurt. So the decision was pretty swift. Manager Thomas Tuchel confirmed Kane missed team training on Wednesday. Playing him in the friendly was just deemed too much of a risk.
Yeah, when you hear the manager quoted saying it was too painful to kick a ball, I mean, your first thought is, oh no, this could be serious.
Right. There were.
But reading between the lines, this feels more like careful management, maybe? A calculated risk assessment?
I think that's exactly right. Tuchel's comments really paint that picture. He said Kane got a kick. That specific phrase suggests it wasn't, a twist or a strain.
Just an impact injury.
Seems like it. And the decision to sit him out for Wales, purely risk management. Look, the friendly is one thing, but that World Cup qualifier just 2 days later,
That's the one that matters.
that's non-negotiable.
So that's the balancing act here. The injury sounds nasty enough, but the manager's clearly thinking longer term, even if it means messing with the team's flow right now.
Precisely. And what's really telling is Tuchel's confidence. He's quoted as being convinced Kane will be ready for that huge qualifier against Latvia.
On the 14th, Saturday.
Yeah, and that statement alone tells you everything. The Wales game becomes, well, almost a test run for others, a chance for the backup guys. But Latvia, that's the crunch match. You protect your most important player for that moment.
But protecting him costs something, right?
Right.
Especially because Tuchel apparently wanted to stick with the team that won so well last time.
Yeah, our sources say he's been forced into 4 changes from the starting 11 that beat Serbia 5-0 away last month.
4 changes. Wow.
And that's a big disruption. It's not just swapping names on a sheet. You lose those connections, that understanding that builds up, especially after such a dominant win.
He actually said he'd have preferred the same team.
Explicitly, yeah. He said he would have preferred to start with that same 11, which shows how much he values that kind of consistency, that rhythm.
So when you look at losing 4 players, and Kane's obviously one of them, what does that do to the team structure? Especially, midfield, attack.
Well, it potentially throws things off quite a bit. That 5-0 win wasn't just scoring goals. It was about control, organization.
The whole performance.
Exactly. When you have to swap out multiple parts, the danger is you lose that cohesion. You might see more individual moments rather than that team play Tuchel was so happy about.
And he really was happy about it, wasn't he? He mentioned the positive feedback after Serbia.
Yeah, he seemed really focused on the morale aspect.
Yeah.
He highlighted that the fans felt they played as a team.
Which is huge.
It is. So for Tuchel, breaking that continuity right after hitting that high note, that's tough. But like we said, he's making the call he thinks is right for the bigger prize, World Cup qualification.
Okay, let's pivot then. Away from the friendly, towards that qualification prize, because that's the real target this week. England playing Latvia away October 14th. This isn't just another qualifier.
No, this is potentially the qualifier. There's a real chance here for England to book their spot for next year's World Cup. But, and it's a big but, it's not entirely in their hands this weekend.
Right, okay, break that down for us. It can get a bit complicated, these scenarios. What exactly has to happen for them to qualify this Saturday?
Think of it like needing 2 things to click perfectly. First, the absolute must-have. England have to win their game against Latvia away. No ifs, no buts.
Handle their own business.
Exactly. That's step 1. Step 2 depends on another game. Serbia versus Albania on Saturday. England needs Serbia to drop points.
So a draw or a loss for Serbia.
Correct. If England win and Serbia fail to win, then bang, England are automatically qualified for the World Cup.
Okay, so big pressure on England to win, and definitely big pressure to get Kane fit for that one. But hang on, before Latvia, we can't just skip over Wales on Thursday. They're not just turning up for a kickabout, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. Even though it's a friendly, Wales have reasons to be fired up. There's the history. For one, get this, they haven't beaten England at Wembley since 1977.
Wow, that's a long time.
Huge motivation right there. Plus, they've got their own massive World Cup qualifier coming up against Belgium next week. So this isn't just a throwaway game for them either.
Yeah, so their coach, Craig Bellamy, he's taking it seriously then.
His quotes were great, actually. Made it crystal clear. We are not here as tourists.
Okay.
He sees it as a benchmark exercise, Test themselves against a top side. Said they're there to be the best version of ourselves and play their brand of football. So for Wales, yeah, this is like a full dress rehearsal for their Belgium game. Expect proper intensity.
Right, which leads us perfectly into the deeper dive on Kane himself. We've talked about managing the injury risk, but why is managing him so critical right now? Because this knock comes just as he's hitting, well, frankly, unbelievable form.
You can't separate the two things. The careful handling of the injury makes total sense when you see his performance data. He's having what the sources call a sizzling start at Bayern.
Sizzling is right.
He's not just settling in, he's absolutely tearing it up. We're talking 11 goals and 3 assists already in the Bundesliga alone. His efficiency is, well, it's off the charts.
Let's put that efficiency in context, because the numbers for both club and country are pretty staggering, especially for someone who just switched leagues.
We'll look at the England record first. He's already the all-time top scorer, right?
Yeah.
74 goals, 109 caps.
Yeah.
That's legendary status already.
Mm-hmm.
But then look at Germany. Since he left Spurs in 2023.
Okay, this is the number that really jumped out at me from the sources and made me do a double take.
Go on.
He scored 103 goals in just 106 appearances for Bayern Munich, all competitions.
Isn't that astonishing?
Wait, hang on. Just over 100 games, new club, new country, new league, and he's basically averaging a goal every single game.
Pretty much, yeah. It's an incredible ratio for anyone, let alone someone supposedly needing time to adapt to the Bundesliga.
It really underscores that he's not just at his peak. He might actually be setting a whole new standard for himself. Like he just plugged himself into Bayern and carried on scoring, maybe even faster.
That's what it looks like. He didn't seem to need any betting in period at all. And that level of performance, that goal rate, is precisely why even a minor knock, a kick to the ankle, sends these kinds of tremors through the England camp.
And this incredible form, this comfort level he clearly has in Germany, that leads us to maybe the most surprising bit of news we found in the sources, something that completely changes how you think about his career long term.
Yeah, this really throws a massive question mark over where he sees himself playing in, say, the next 3-5 years. Kane apparently indicated just earlier this week that he's actually open to staying at Bayern even longer.
Longer than his current deal, which ends in 2027.
Exactly. Open to extending beyond 2027.
Wow. Okay, that is a huge shift. Because everyone just assumed, didn't they, that he'd eventually come back to England, finish his career here, maybe go for Shearer's Premier League record.
That was the narrative. But here's the killer detail our sources picked up. His desire to return to the Premier League has reportedly dimmed.
Dimmed. That's a really significant word choice.
It is monumental. It suggests maybe he's found something in Munich, professional satisfaction, maybe stability, that outweighs the pull of home or those Premier League records.
Why do you think that desire might have dimmed? Is it just the success he's having? Or is there something about playing for Bayern, the Bundesliga culture, maybe less intense scrutiny than the Premier League?
It's probably a mix of things, isn't it? I mean, look, in Munich, he's pretty much guaranteed to be fighting for the biggest trophies year in, year out. That's something he always chased but couldn't quite grab before.
True.
And maybe achieving that unbelievable goal-a-game pace we just talked about, that kind of immediate dominance in a top foreign league, maybe that's actually more fulfilling for him right now than chasing a historical domestic record. It feels like he's found his groove and might be thinking about cementing his legacy with one of Europe's giants, away from England.
So let's tie this all together for the listener. We started with a very immediate worry, an injury affecting a friendly. And we've ended up talking about a potentially major shift in where England's top talent sees their future. What are the key takeaways?
Right. The main things for you to remember are Kane sitting out the Wales friendly, smart move, given the ankle lock. But the strong expectation for the manager himself is that he will be back for that absolutely crucial Latvia match on Saturday.
The one that could seal World Cup qualification if other results go their way.
Exactly. But the bigger picture, the real deep dive insight, is that this minor injury setback happens right when Kane is, one, playing arguably the best football of his career at Bayern, pace-wise.
That goal-to-game ratio.
Yeah. And two, he's actively signaling that his future might just be in Germany, not back in England. It looks like his move to the Bundesliga could be much more permanent than anyone really thought a year ago.
Which leads us to that final provocative thought, doesn't it?
It does. Because this isn't just about Harry Kane. If England's captain, their record scorer, is openly saying his desire to come back home has dimmed, and he's thinking about extending with Bayern, well, what does that signal to everyone else? Yeah. Could we be seeing a new trend where the very top English players start prioritizing maybe the challenge or the stability offered by clubs like Bayern or Real Madrid or PSG over the Premier League? Is the Bundesliga, or maybe another top European league, becoming the more attractive permanent home for England's elite now?
Definitely something to think about while we wait for news on that ankle, and crucially, for those results on Saturday.